And then we're going to end up with David. Go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight, and thank you for your patience and long suffering. My goodness. My name is Sandra Spencer, and I'm a South St. Louis resident, 13th Ward. I'm here today because there is no resource more important to protect than our water. I urge those who have the power to make these decisions to vote against the Veolia consulting contract. For all the reasons we have heard tonight, this is a bad proposition for our public water system and for residents across the city. Veolia claims that it will help St. Louis to be more efficient in its water delivery through the $250,000 consulting contract. But experience has shown that the type of efficiency that private water industry is concerned with is efficient generation of corporate profits. This includes tighter bill collections, pushing up rates, worker layoffs, labor rights abuses, and health and safety violations. These so-called efficiencies do not equate to effective public water system delivery. Veolia's track record speaks for itself. In Richmond and Burlingame, California, Veolia Water North America spilled millions of gallons of sewage. I think we've gone through that. We've talked about that already tonight. Veolia has been terminated in numerous municipalities throughout Latin America, from Argentina and Venezuela to Puerto Rico, because some of the same problems seen in many cases of corporate-controlled water. Given the troubling track record that we have heard this evening, it's not surprising that Veolia is struggling financially. The public has seen that when they put their water in private hands, promises are often broken in the name of profits. So Veolia is scrambling to open the doors to resistant communities through Trojan horse consulting contracts, like the one here in St. Louis. Multiple phases in the contract give Veolia increasing access to profit from our water. Veolia recently entered a similar consulting contract with New York City for an enormous price tag. The city is spending as much as $36 million for so-called efficiency purposes. Here in St. Louis, Veolia has attempted to bypass the democratic process. In 2007, the corporation gave Mayor Slay an award check for $15,000 on behalf of the city. Veolia hired a lawyer who also serves as a lobbyist for a political action committee for Mayor Slay. But concerned citizens brought this political interference to light, and due to public pressure, the city opened this public forum for us to express our concerns. A city spokesperson has claimed that if the city does nothing, water rates will increase. Yet we know that Veolia and the private water industry are notorious for water rate increases. Private water industry contracts versus doing nothing is a false choice. The private water industry has left many cities reeling with long-term costs to their water systems that ultimately fall back on the city to fix. American cities have a proven track record of efficiency, access, and quality through public ownership and management of our water resources. St. Louis can also be one of those cities. Our public water system is too important a community service to invite Veolia to exploit it. Today we are sending a strong message to Veolia, and the private water industry that St. Louis residents will not stand for corporate attempts to bypass the democratic process and profit from our water at the expense of our community and our environment. Our most essential public resource, our water, belongs in public hands and in democratic control. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Spencer. Okay, our last speaker, David, and then we're going to conclude. I again want to thank everyone for coming down, for expressing yourself. You have brought this to our attention as alderpersons, and that's why we are holding this hearing, because we wanted to hear some of the things that you have not been able to verbally express. And keep the emails going. because you can go to the Board of E&A when they hold this issue before them, and we don't know what's going to happen here at the board. We really don't know. So, David, would you come up?
Madam Chair, before folks start leaving, is there a way that we can ask them, because someone had mentioned collecting all of the flyers that folks are holding?
You
And
want
if
those
there's
collected?
If there's a way, if people are willing to volunteer them so that we can, hand them over or compile them and, give that info to the folks at Veolia so that they can come back and provide their say as well. I know that folks on both sides of the party, want answers, so I think that would be very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you have 5 minutes, David, so we can go home and have a couple of hot dogs.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and other officials here this evening. Thank you very much for the opportunity to close. First of all, one of the things that I would want to say to you is that we agree with a lot of things that were said here tonight. Sunshine Law, getting information from employees, that's what this contract is all about. I talked about that last week. And I agree with that methodology, and that's what we do. The thing is, we're the best at it. This is why New York City, Tampa Bay, Oklahoma City, Indianapolis, Rialto, California, many, many cities. That's why they've hired us, because we bring that expertise to the table. And that's what we want to bring to the city of St. Louis as well. So we want to bring that expertise to the table. There was talk about rate increases. Not at one of our contracts do we control rates. We are an operator and a manager. We do not go before rate commissioners, city county councils, and increase rates. That is not what we do. That's not our business model. As a result, tonight you've heard a lot of misinformation. Regarding apartheid. That's not what we do. There's been talk about racism. I don't think I would be standing here if that's what this company practiced. I think I am a person of color. And as a result of that, we value that at Veolia. And we plan to give you that documentation that says that. There's been information passed around tonight about layoffs. That's not what we do. We have never laid off any employee at any organization that we've worked with. It's written in this deal. We understand that. We're not going to lay people off. That's not part of our business model. And so I would ask people, just listen to what we say and then look at what we've done as well in other cities. One of the other things I would say is the citizens of this community, you've heard from them. The chairwoman said earlier, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this was part of the election. The mayor won. I mean, he won this. It was part of his opponent's piece when he was running against the mayor, and the mayor was for this deal, and this was part of it. And the mayor won the election. You heard last week about allowing Kurt Scobie and others to do their job. Kurt Scobie has been with the utility for many, many years and produced that water that many of the people have talked about. And as a result, I would say, allow him to do his job, just like I think his boss, the COO, said last week. Allow him to utilize what he thinks he needs to improve his organization today. Regarding the buses, there's 130 bus lines that run. There are 3 of those bus lines that ask for an ID, and it is a work permit. Has nothing to do with race, religion, or any of those sort of things. So it's 130 bus lines.
Except those work permits are issued based upon where you live and who you are.
Well, I would say this: when others were talking, I didn't jump in and say
Correct.
anything. So I would ask the same thing be provided to me as well. So I would. That's the only thing I would ask. Thank you. Lastly, what I would say is that Veolia's track record is a brilliant track record. There's been a lot of things cast about here tonight. You've collected information. You know, I would ask you, where did the information come from? The other thing is, we have asked to speak with many of these organizations that have represented themselves tonight, and they have refused to meet with us. We have wanted to sit down with them.
Excuse me, if you cannot control yourselves, then you need to step out in the hallway, okay?
Thank you very much. We have asked for meetings with these different organizations, and they have not met with us. And we'd be more than happy to sit down with them at any time and discuss their issues and so forth and so on. That is the only way that we get work done, is to sit down, communicate, and talk about these things.
Okay.
So thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for your time, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
I thought Kurt Scobie was gone. Kurt, do you have anything you want to add to anything as a director? If anything you want to clear up, or are you okay? I mean, I'm just giving you an opportunity. I know you have some of your employees here. I just wanted to give you the opportunity. If you don't, that's fine. I just thought you had left, so I'm glad you're still here. Okay, Alderman Boyd, did you?
I'll yield to.
I'm sorry,
Wessels.
Alderman Wessels?
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
That question would be to Mr. Geddes.
Mr. Gaddis.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
The project manager, I believe the fellow that's going to be a project manager on this one, should the contract go through, said that his objective, one of the objectives, was to save, cut costs by 10 to 15%.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that would be somewhere around $5.6 million to $8 million annually.
Yes, sir.
I have a hard time understanding how any company would receive only $250,000 and be able to save that amount of money annually, because over a period, let's say, of 10 years, we're talking $50 to $80 million. So I'm assuming that when he said that was a major objective, it wouldn't be just, we're not just talking about phase one. We would be talking about a kind of change implemented in phase two or phase three. Am I correct? Or would it just be $250,000? If so, this is a bargain.
Well, first of all, I would say it is a bargain.
No. My question is it only, are you folks talking about cutting costs by 10 to 15% in phase one?
Here's what we're talking
Because
about.
if you do it, I would say, why should we go into phase two?
Well, here's what we're talking about. As we said last week, we would deliver to the water department what is in the scope of services demanded in phase one, and that would be a blueprint in order for them to save money. If it then comes down to implementation, and as I said last week as well, if Mr. Scobie and his team would like for us to assist them in implementation, we're more than happy to do so. If they feel the right thing to do is to outsource that implementation to someone else, that's okay as well. If they feel they can do it themselves, that's okay as well. So as a result of that, we will give them the blueprint. But as I said last week as well, once we get into phase one, what the majority of our clients have understood is that implementation is the key. And if it was easy, everybody would do it. And we are water professionals and operators, and we assist numerous water utilities throughout this world in implementation. But if they would make a decision to not want to hire us and they think they can implement it themselves, they're more than happy to do so, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Alderman Boyd?
Yeah. Excuse me. I just want to kind of say to Mr. Gaddis, I thought you were doing a pretty decent job when you were trying to sum everything up, but when you brought politics in it about the mayor's race, you made it sound like it was a mandate because the mayor won. And this is St. Louis politics. I don't want you to think it was a mandate.
Not at all.
Because the mayor won, that it should move forward. I am extremely proud of the citizens who came down today, and it's after 9 o'clock, who have stayed throughout this journey tonight. I'm extremely proud of the public participation in this process, period. And I think that you should contact each member of ENA and ask them when they're going to vote to have the meeting in this room, because this room can hold over 100 people and room 200 cannot. So if you want to continue to be involved in the process, I encourage you to contact each member of ENA and show them that you're concerned about participating in public discourse. Thank you again
you.
for everybody coming out, period. I think this was healthy for everybody.
Could I address Mr. Boyd's
Sure.
comment? I did not mean it as a mandate, so I apologize if that's what I was saying, if that's what you thought I was saying. What I was saying was that that we were talking about people being heard, and I think that there's two sides to every story. And so I think there were other people that were heard as well that maybe weren't here tonight. Those are the people that I'm talking about as well. So that's what I meant by that.
Okay, thank you, Alderman. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I really appreciate it. I don't know if it stopped raining or started raining, but everybody be safe. Thank you, STL TV for taping this, and have a good evening.